Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Happy Monday and happy start of July. So I know that probably most of us are feeling lots of different ways, a lot of conflicting feelings from relieved to confused to skeptical. And then there are some of us that are feeling like we still cannot catch a break despite the fact that there is an uptick in the market due to seasonality. So the question now is about trucking recovery. What are experts saying? Is it going to take a few more months, or are we in it for the long run and we're going to have to wait a few more years in order to see some semblance of stability in this industry? So let's chat about it. Ready? Let's go. So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that as usual, experts are not agreeing on a few fundamental things, including when the trucking market will improve and how it will improve. So according to the Journal of Commerce, the long recovery in the US truckload demand is going to get even longer, stretching into 2025 and possibly 2026 as excess capacity absorbs increases in freight volumes. Now, FTR Intel's Vice President Avery Weiss, FTR is the same source I used to show you those spot market charts. So Avery Weiss said that he is looking at the growth in total truck loadings to increase a little bit over 2% this year and maybe a little bit more next year. To be exact, FTR forecasts that for dry vans, truck loadings will increase by 2.1% this year, reefer loadings will increase by 2.4% this year, and flatbed and open deck loadings will actually decrease by 0.9% this year. As the Journal of Commerce states, there's still plenty of capacity in the truckload sector despite the loss of approximately 36,000 trucking companies since 2022. We still have roughly 96,000 more carriers than we had in February of 2020, Weiss said. We're right-sizing, but not very quickly. But as I said before, these experts do tend to disagree. So Chris Pickett, the COO of Flock Freight, said that he believes that spot rates would see an increase by 6 to 8% by the end of September this year. So the question now is, what is currently happening? Well, the Journal of Commerce partnered with DAT Freight and Analytics as well as LoadSmart to see what shippers are currently paying on the spot market. And what they found is that the average shipper pays about $2.22 per mile on the spot market using long-haul trucking across the US. Now, again, Avery Weiss of FTR says we're not really seeing much that's going to change the dynamic. This gradual incremental loss of capacity, this gradual improvement in freight, we'll see a bit of rate strength returning to truckload, but we don't see that beginning until next year. And he actually blames a big portion of this on the fact that the US interest rates are still elevated. As the Journal of Commerce says, those interest rates have an effect on inventory costs and construction, helping to depress freight activity. Now, while these experts do disagree on the timeline of when the market is going to actually start turning, one thing that they all agree on is that 2025 will be marked with some truckload rate increases. However, they do still disagree on how much of an increase and how quick of an increase. For example, FTR predicts truckload rates, contract and spot, will drop 2.3% overall in 2024 and rise 3.4% in 2025. All right, so that all makes sense. But of course, I started digging into the state of the freight market right now because currently we're in a situation where there's a little bit of a disconnect because we're seeing rates go up due to the seasonal uptick, but as I always say, the actual foundation of trucking, which brings consistency, is broken. What I found was a little bit different from what I expected to find, and I definitely learned something new, and I hope I can relay it to you guys as well. So according to the DAT Freight and Analytics, we're entering another unusual stage in the freight market as the market bounces along the bottom of a trough. The challenge is we may be here for some time to come, not only are truckload carriers aggressively calibrating truck counts to match the softening demand, but they're also ordering more new trucks from factories ahead of the 2027 EPA Clean Trucks plan, which could add as much as $30,000 to the cost of new trucks. And this is the part where I really learned something new. The flow-on effect is more used trucks hitting the market and lower used truck prices, making it more attractive for new capacity to enter the market when it is already oversupplied. The 2027 pre-buy cannot be ignored, as it's one of the main reasons we think capacity will keep a lid on any meaningful improvement in the spot and contract rates this year. But at the same time, the existing capacity is continuing to leave. And the reason we know that is not only from the charts that we see every week showing the capacity decreases, but also the Journal of Commerce studies how large fleets cut capacity. And what they found was that big carrier capacity cuts in the first quarter pulled the truckload capacity index down to levels last seen in mid-2017. The TCI dropped 2.4% from the fourth quarter to a first quarter reading of 78.9. The index fell 7.7% from quarter one of 2023. Now, to give you a clearer number, since this TCI peaked in 2022, publicly owned carriers, so the big guys, they cut their collective truck count by 15.4%, which is the largest drop seen since 2013. So going back to the question, are we already in a trucking recovery? And if not, when will we see it happen? My opinion is that we are not going to start seeing any meaningful recovery until, and this is the best case scenario, mid-2025. And it's also not going to be the kind of recovery many expect, where rates all of a sudden shoot up into the stratosphere. No, in my opinion, it's actually going to be so slow and steady that many of us won't even know it is happening. The one thing we know is that regardless of how much capacity is leaving the market, it's just not enough if we're looking at it from the supply and demand standpoint in order to actually see it affect rates. And taking now into consideration the fact that the used truck market is going to start increasing, making it easier for people to get in, yeah, we're kind of stuck in a very interesting cycle. So my advice, and I don't usually give advice on this channel, I talk a lot about my opinions, but my advice is enjoy this seasonal uptick and make sure to put away anything extra you earn right now, because the trucking recovery saga continues. And one thing that we should not expect at this point is consistency, at least not yet. So yeah, guys, that's what I have for you today. I hope you have a fantastic start to July, to this week. I hope you have a fantastic 4th of July weekend, long weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep learning. See you in the next video.